Qur'an. That's sunnah. Because our mother Aisha Radiyallahu anha wa ardaha, she was from the ulama, the companions. She was from the uqala, very intelligent. She knew the Arabic language. She knew the deen very well. And when she read that ayat, any Arab sitting here, any person who knows Arabic, when they read that ayat, it's easy for them to get the same understanding that Aisha had. And you can't say that her understanding was wrong. You can't say it's wrong. It's a good sign if an individual does a sin and makes a mistake, that he's afraid of the retribution. The Prophet Sallallahu, alaihi wasallam, he said, and nadab tawbah, when someone is sorry for what he did, it's a sign of his tawbah. It's the first step towards tawbah, the fact that he was sorry. He didn't even say, oh Allah, forgive me yet. He just feels, I shouldn't have done that thing. That was a bad thing that I did. That's a sign of his tawbah. So her tafsir wasn't wrong, but it wasn't the tafsir that Allah Azza wa Jal wanted to come to the mind of the people based upon what the Prophet said, Sallallahu alaihi wa alaihi wasallam. So it was the sunnah, the hadith, that explained the ayah. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Qur'an, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ وَلَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. We revealed to you the dhikr, Ya Muhammad, so that you can explain to the people what was revealed to them. We revealed this so that you can explain in your sunnah, in the hopes that they would reflect and they would get benefit. Now, one of the main reasons why I'm mentioning this point is because we're living in a time today where a person doesn't have any knowledge about the religion, he's not qualified, he's not competent, and individuals in modernness, something comes to him from the sunnah, and he has the nerve and the audacity to push it away because of his madhab concerning the ahkam of salah, because of his madhab concerning the ahkam of fasting. As you're going to see, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that three things all of the prophets were ordered to do. Three things, all of them, from Adam to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Wasallam alaihi. One is to grab their left hands with their right hands in the salah. But the person comes and says, I'm Maliki, and he prays like that. Second thing is, in Ramadan, when you're fasting, when it's time to do your fast, the Prophet said, make it as close to Fajr as possible. So if Fajr comes in at 3:35, for an example, 3:35, you can eat up until 3:33, 3:34. I wouldn't advise to go that close, but as close as you can come to Fajr easily, without any takalluf. All of the prophets were told to do that. But yet, in our community in Leicester, they tell you, stop eating at 3 o'clock, 30 minutes before the time. Why? Just to be sure. But Allah told all of the prophets and all of the messengers to delay the suhoor as close to Fajr as possible. And the third thing that all of the prophets were commanded is at Maghrib time. When that adhan goes off, Allahu Akbar for al-Maghrib, don't sit there making dua. Don't sit there making dua. You, as soon as you see and you hear Allah, you make that dua and you start eating right away. But there's a person, he fasted all day and he's feeling good now, he's making dua. And he's not understanding that all of the prophets were told, do it like this. So this first point, we need the sunnah to explain the hadith. We don't want any of us, to be those Muslims who are modernists, meaning when the sunnah comes, we say it's just the sunnah. When the sunnah comes, we have to be a group of people who say, that sunnah, we can't understand this religion without that sunnah. I believe in Allah, and I believe in the Qur'an, which is the kalam of Allah, it's not created, and I believe Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sitting here by Allah, and he knows this religion better than everyone, and whatever he says goes. Don't be like the people who are apologetic and doubtful about the sunnah, and don't be like the people who, when the sunnah comes, they oppose it because of their intellect. In the month of Ramadan, there was a man who came through the door, and he came to the Prophet Sallallahu, and he said, can I kiss my wife while I'm fasting? The Prophet said, yes. He left. Another man came. He asked the same question. Can I kiss my wife while I'm fasting? The Prophet said, no. Our mother Aisha narrated the hadith and she saw and heard the incident. She didn't do what some Muslims do today. The Muslims who have a problem with the Sunnah, they call themselves Qur'aniyun, some of them. And some of them are not Qur'aniyun, they're just arrogant and ignorant to reject the Sunnah when it goes against their Imam, their madhab, their culture and so forth. So their mind can't understand it. Look at the minhaj of Aisha. Look at the minhaj and knowledge. Aisha didn't say, look, the Sunnah and the hadith say yes over here, said no over here. That's why I don't want this hadith. Just give me the Quran, that's it. Because you know these hadith, some of them are good, some of them are bad. We don't know what's true, what's not true. Just give me the Quran. That's the comment and understanding of some people. Allah mentioned in the Quran, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ وَلَوْ كَانَ مِنْ عِنْدِ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ لَوَجَدُوا فِيهِ اخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Why don't they contemplate the Quran? Won't they contemplate the Quran? If the Quran was from other than Allah, there would have been a lot of ikhtilaf in it. But the Quran is from Allah, so there's no ikhtilaf. So that person says, just give me the Quran and that's it. As for these hadith, it said yes here, it said no there. And there are a lot of hadith like that. A lot. The Prophet says, Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the very first thing that's going to be looked into, judged, Yawm al-Qiyamah, very first thing you're going to be asked about is salat. And then another hadith said, the very first thing that Allah is going to look into is the blood that was spilled unjustly. So that person comes and says, salat is one thing, blood is another thing. You see this hadith? You see this? Don't give me this hadith and this sunnah. Look at Aisha, our mother Radiyallahu anha. When Aisha saw this incident in Ramadan, she had a minhaj. She had iman. Her iman told her there has to be a plausible explanation why he said yes here and why he said no. She didn't have an iota of doubt. Not any doubt. Did the Prophet forget? Did the Prophet, he doesn't know what he's talking? She didn't have any doubt. She did what Allah told her to do, what Allah told us to do before we reject something from our religion. Allah told us, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask those who know if you don't know. Don't be arrogant and ignorant and have the audacity because you don't know, you didn't understand, you never heard it. Doesn't make sense to you or me. We reject it. Ya Rasulullah, why did you say yes to him and why did you say no to him? The Prophet said, Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as for that man, he was a sheikh. He was old. He was old. He had white in his hair. He was old. فَكَانَ أَمْلَكَ لِنَفْسِهِ. So he was more in control of himself. He's old. He has discipline. He kissed the lady and says, Ma salam, I'm going to the masjid. He said, as for that man, he was a shab. He was young like this brother right there. You know, some of you young brothers, you're only 16, 17, 18 years old. It's disliked for the person to get married in the month of Ramadan. A youngster. It's disliked. It's not haram. And the reason why it's disliked, if you break your fast in the month of Ramadan, the penalty is you have to fast 2 months consecutively. And if you start fasting those months consecutively, you get to 1 month. 1 month. You did 30 days straight. And then you broke the 31st day without a reason. You have to start all over again. It's a big penalty. So the scholar said, no, young people, try not to get married in the month of Ramadan. Now, the point here is, number one, Aisha Radiyallahu anha, she didn't reject the sunnah, she didn't reject the issue, she didn't have any doubt. And number two, today, just like eating close to Fajr, just like speeding it up for Maghrib, there are those people who will tell you, if you kiss your wife, you broke your fast on that day. You bring them this hadith, hey, here's a hadith. The Nabi Sallallahu alaihi wasallam was fasting himself and he kissed his wives. And just a show of affection, just small affection. That's all. No desires. This affection. Show him that hadith. You show him this authentic hadith, Bukhari Muslim. The first say, my madhab, my madhab, my madhab, my madhab. Don't be like those people. The things that break your fast are the things that proof comes. Dalil. Quran and Sunnah show this thing breaks your fast. that time of the month for the woman. It breaks the fast. Person is traveling, a person is sick, he can break his fast. You vomit intentionally, there's proof. You broke your fast. People are coming up with all kinds of stuff. I use an inhaler because I have asthma. It breaks your fast. Where's the deal for that? You put eye drop in your eyes. Where's the deal for that? So the general rule that we're making here is don't go against the sunnah, and let the sunnah be the thing that helps you to navigate in your understanding of the Qur'an and this religion. The Prophet prophesies the time that we're living in. He says, Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا يتكين أحدكم على أريكته شبعان يأتيه أمر مما أمرت به أو نهيت عنه فيقول علينا بكتاب الله. None of you, he told his companions, none of you should recline on your couch full with a fat stomach. We just went and ate kebabs, chicken, rice, zaytun, vimto, this, that, and we ate. And now here I come as a Muslim, and I'm going to sit back, relax. I didn't make any efforts in spreading this religion like those companions. I didn't make any efforts to bring the Qur'an together, to bring the Sunnah together, to defend Medina, to defend Islam. I didn't make any of those efforts. 1,435 years after the Hijrah, I eat, drink, vimto, and I sit back and I start saying, Jihad, kafir, haram, halal, don't bring me that hadith, this. Ya akhi, take it easy. Rasulullah said, don't be like that. Don't sit back and recline comfortably. Something comes to you from his sunnah that he told you to do or prohibited you from, and we say, leave that hadith. Just bring me the Qur'an. Just bring me the Qur'an. Before moving on to the next point, inshallah, I think I made this point in this message before, and I'll make it again, just for clarification purposes. I remember I made this point in our Usul Sunnah class. You take this man, my man right there, my man. You put him on an island, and you give him the Qur'an, my man right there. And you take this brother right here, you put him on an island by himself, and you give him the authentic Sunnah. He has his family, his wife and his children. He has his family, his brothers, sisters, mother, and father. This one with the Qur'an, he's an expert in the Qur'an. All of those hadith about the virtues of memorizing apply to him. يقال لصاحب القرآن يوم القيامة اقرأ وارتقي ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا فإن آخر منزلتك عند آخر آية تقرأها. Read. Allah will say يوم القيامة, be said, read and keep rising and read with tajweed, because your last place in the Jannah is going to be determined by the last ayah. Because he knows all the Qur'an, he's going to keep going up higher than the one who didn't memorize the Qur'an. That's him on the island with the Qur'an. That's him. Those hadith where the Nabi says, Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, الذي يقرأ القرآن وهو ماهر به مع السفرة الكرام البررة. The one who reads the Qur'an and he's an expert, he knows what he's doing, he's going to be raised up Yawm al-Qiyamah with the angels. That's him. You say to him, this is how good he is. This is how good he is. You say to him, hey, Allah mentioned many ayahs of the Qur'an. He finished many ayahs. Inna Allah ghafurur rahim. He mentioned that at the end of many ayahs. If you said to this man that you put on the island, hey, I want you to read from wherever I tell you to read. And you say to him, he doesn't know you're going to say this. The last place in the Qur'an where Allah said, Allah Ghafur Rahim, pick up the next ayah. And without hesitating, he has it. Not only that, he can read the 7 qira'at fluently. You put him on an island. And you put this brother on an island with his family. And you said, fast the month of Ramadan. That man is going to fast the Ramadan of Islam. That one right there. This one is not going to fast the Ramadan. He's not going to know what he's doing. He's not going to know what he is doing. And I just give you that as an example, because the Quran and the Sunnah, they can't be separated. Second point, before we get to the issue of Ramadan, or the main issue of what we wanted to talk about, Ikhwani, inshallah. Second point, this ayat and this incident, it goes to show we need those companions, Radiyallahu anhu, to understand this religion. Now everybody who's here, I'm pretty sure, Everybody here, inshallah, believes in Allah. And everyone here believes in the Qur'an, and we respect the Qur'an. One of the tabi, his name is Mujahid. Mujahid. He used to take the Qur'an, and whenever he wanted to pick up the Qur'an in Ramadan, he would say, Kitabu Rabbi. And he would kiss the Qur'an, exalting the Qur'an. Allah Ta'ala mentioned that, anyone who exalts these issues in Islam is a proof that he has iman. So in Ramadan, respect him the Quran. He would say, Kalam Rabbi. He never said this is a hadith. He never did like this. He never did that stuff. And he didn't do it all the time. It was in Ramadan. His iman was up. He's teaching. Before he teaches, he will take the Quran to show the students, hey, we have to respect the Quran. Not like some of the masajid. I don't know if this masjid has it. You go to some of these Qur'ans, you're going to have writing in the Qur'an. The kid drew a car. Another one over here, he drew an airplane dropping bombs. Another one over here, he wrote a swear word. This one has a monster, a face of something. That's how we're dealing with the Qur'an. Anyway, everybody here, inshallah, we love Allah, afraid of Allah, believe in Allah. And His kalam, the Qur'an, it's not created, it's from Allah. It's greater than anything in creation. The Quran is greater than Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, because Prophet Muhammad is created. The Quran is the kalam of Allah. And we all believe in Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu as being the best of Allah's creation. Greater than the arsh. Greater than the qalam. He's the greatest. Khairul bariyah. He's the greatest of the creation. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there's a fourth point that you guys have to understand. A fourth one that has to be similar, has to go with these ones. And that fourth one is Allah, the Khaliq, the Quran, the Kalam of the Khaliq, Rasulullah is the makhluk that was sent by Allah, and that Quran was put on him. And those companions are with him, and they're going to help us to understand this religion. Like this incident. If Aisha Radiyallahu anha did not ask the Prophet Sallallahu about this question, we wouldn't have known what the ayat meant. It's because of what she asked that we are now able to know. It's because they narrated to us the incident that we know. It's because of that. By Allah Ta'ala's virtues. I'll give you another example. And there are many examples of this. The companions. You cannot understand that Quran correctly without those companions. You don't have the liberty to understand that Quran without those companions. If they had an understanding, you have to have that understanding. Nothing other than that. After the death of Rasulullah Sallallahu, a group of companions traveled to fight the enemy. The enemy were afraid, so they stayed in their fortress. And they were shooting arrows from behind the fortress, and they wouldn't come out to meet the Muslims. They were afraid. The Muslims couldn't shoot them, and they couldn't do anything because they're outside. A group of the people said, without telling everyone, hey, look, you want to go to Jannah? Let's just go. Us 7, 8, we'll go. Open up the door. They're going to kill us, but we're going to open up the door, and then the Muslims are going to come and get it. Amongst themselves, they said, okay. They didn't tell everybody. The next day when they were fighting, those people came up with that brilliant idea. They went and they opened up the door, and it allowed the Muslims to come, but all of them were killed. After the war took place, someone from the Muslims said, these people committed suicide. They murdered themselves. And Allah said in the Quran, and they used an ayat, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى تَهْلُكَ. Don't destroy yourselves with your own hands. That's an ayat of the Quran. That ayat can mean don't smoke crack, don't smoke cigarettes, don't drink khamr, don't drive and you're driving crazy. That ayat can mean don't kill yourselves. That ayat can mean don't jump off of a roof, don't poison yourself. That ayat can mean all of those things. Don't drive and ride without a seatbelt. If you're tired, pull over and stop. You're driving with someone and he's driving, he's falling asleep. You can say to him, hey, Allah said don't destroy yourself with your own hands, man. You better pull over and get some rest. That ayat means all of that. But look, and the point is the companions understanding the Qur'an. When the man said that about them, the companion Abu Ayyub al-Ansari said, "Bitsama qult." That's a terrible thing you said. They killed themselves, committed suicide. Do you know the reward of the people who commit suicide? If someone stabs himself with a knife and commits suicide, he'll continue to do that to Yom Qiyamah. If he throws himself off of a roof, he'll continue to fall from a high place into Yom Qiyamah. If he takes poison and he'll continue to take. He said that ayat does not mean that. I know what the ayat means. It was revealed upon us, the Ansar. When the Prophet Sallallahu came to us in Al-Medina, we didn't have a lot of money. But whatever and whenever he asked us for money, although we didn't have a lot, we used to give whatever we had without any hesitation. But after Islam started spreading, after 6, 7, 8, 9 years after Hijrah, we started traveling and conquering people. We started getting money. When we were told to give sadaqah, some people didn't give. So Allah just revealed the ayat telling people, don't destroy yourselves by being stingy. Masjid Taiba needs money. Has light bills, gas bill, water bill, cleanup bills, this bill, pay this one, pay that one. And the people don't give. That's one of the ways you destroy yourself. So Abu Ayyub al-Ansari said, the meaning of the ayat is, we didn't spend. So Allah was telling us to spend. Don't use that ayat in that way. So the point here is, the second benefit of this ayat is the incident goes to show Aisha. Ya Rasulullah, what is that ayat? Is this talking about the people who drink khamr and they steal? No, Aisha. It's talking about the people who they pray, they make fast, they give sadaqah, and they don't know if Allah is going to accept it. We cannot understand this Qur'an without those companions being inside of the equation. Radiyallahu anhum. Now I come to the last point, and I can't call it the most important point, but it's more connected to today's lesson. But those first two points, if you don't understand what I just said, don't be shy to ask. As a matter of fact, if you want, I'll start all over again. Because these first 2 points are critical to your Islam. It's one of the problems that Muslims have today. It's one of the problems. That this one right here, he thinks he has the freedom and the liberty to reject the Sunnah. That one over there, his understanding of jihad is, he's in his country 20 years, 21 years, 22 years, and he's still causing disruption, blowing up innocent people, calling that jihad. That one over there, he believes that what happened in Woolwich is from Islam. He's brave. He's a soldier. And this one over there thinks, I don't have to pray because Islam is in my heart. That one over there is saying the companions of kuffar. He's saying the companions of kuffar. And although he says the companion of kuffar, he may have some beef with the Jews. He has some beef with the Zionists. He has beef with the Zionists. I don't believe you should blow people up, and I don't believe what they're doing, and I believe you have to pray. I don't agree with all these people, and I don't believe that I don't believe that the companions of kuffar. But this man who believes that the companions of kuffar, he's having problems with the Jews, and he's making khutbahs against the Jews. He's strong. And the next one says, yeah, he's a good guy. Although the man is cursing the companions. And I gotta say, this is a good guy, because it's all over the place. Understanding of the people, this ummah, all over the place. If we bring it back to the square, it's those 2 points that I just told you. Point number 1, don't separate yourself from the sunnah of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that's all of the sunnah. Not just that miswak stuff like that is okay. I'm talking about everything. Giving dawah, we give dawah to Allah, and we call people back to Allah, the book of Allah. We don't just give dawah, these dawahs that are going on, gimmicks and stuff. The point about today's topic, fasting in Ramadan. The main point, Ikhwan, this ayat shows us something you have to hold on to for the rest of your life, especially as Ramadan is coming close. The benefit from the ayat. And it is that the ayah and the incident goes to show those people who do what they do and they don't know and they're afraid because they're going to return to Allah. Who are they, Ya Rasulullah? They are the people who fast. They are the people who make salah. They are the people who give zakat. And they don't know if Allah is going to accept it. Someone made and led the people in salat of al-asr. Did Allah accept his asr? Someone made the adhan. The Prophet says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, أطول الناس أعناق يوم القيامة المؤذنون. The people who have the longest necks يوم القيامة will be the people who make the adhan. The benefit of the hadith is يوم القيامة, from what we have to believe in, is people are going to be sweating because it's going to be difficult. And we're going to be in need of our deeds. And we're going to be in need of what was the right Islam. You get caught, I get caught on the wrong side of the fence in terms of your tasawwur, what we thought Islam was. There's going to be a lot of sweat. Some people are going to be sweating up into the ankles, others to their knees, to the waist, to the chest, to the neck. Some people submerged. If he gave the adhan, his neck is longer, so he has long distance. The modernist Muslim said, what? That's giraffe human being? I don't believe that. I don't believe that hadith. Don't be like those people. They mock and ridicule something that the Nabi said. A long neck? What is that about? It must not mean that. A human being with a... How? Why? Allah didn't make you responsible for that. The Prophet said, and that's it. The month of Ramadan. This ayat hadith goes to show. The way the Muslim has to be is, he has to have some level of fear. What I'm doing and what I've done, did Allah accept it? And you can't just be relaxed that I did it, khalas, it's alright. I did it and that's it. I prayed today, not once did I think about my prayer, not once. Was it accepted? Was I afraid? Not afraid. That's how those companions were, Radiyallahu anhu ajma'in. There's an ayah of the Qur'an, Allah Ta'ala mentioned, أَفَأَمِنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ فَلَا يَأْمِنُوا مَكْرَ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. Are they secure? Are they secure? Are they secure from the plan of Allah? Do they feel secure? No one feels secure of the plan of Allah except a people who are the losers. The people who are losers. There was a man from the Tabi'een taught by the companions. His name was Abdullah ibn Ubaydillah ibn Abi Mulaika. He's a faqih and he's fiqh in hadith. He said, I met 30 of the companions of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I met 30 of them. All of them were afraid of nifaq upon himself. None of them thought that they were on the level of iman of Jibril and Mikael. Who did he meet? He met the Abadala. Now I'm going to come at the end of the talk and I'm going to ask you this question. Inshallah, there'll be a reward, especially for the young people. This is a new word in knowledge that you should memorize. Al-Abadala. Like Al-Abadala means the four companions, their name was Abdullah. They narrated the majority of the hadith. Ibn Umar, Ibn Abbas, Ibn Amr ibn al-As, and Ibn al-Zubayr. That man met those four. Awliya. The Awliya. All of them afraid for themselves, nifaq. Who did he meet? He met Ali ibn Abi Talib. He met Aisha, her sister, Asma. He met Salama. The man, he met people who, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, one of the 10 people promised Jannah, him and Ali. Promised Jannah, along with the other ones. Now if you just take those 8 that I mentioned, just those 8, and you gather all of their hadith, the majority of Al-Islam is with them. If those 8 people were living today, you would have most of Islam in terms of knowledge. And each one of them thought that maybe he could be a munafiq. He was afraid for himself. Umar Radiyallahu anhu, I think you all know. There was a companion. He was known for a lot of virtues. His name is Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman. Him and his father were companions. The Prophet told Hudayfa the names of the munafiqeen. The hypocrites. They're kuffar. They were in the community during the time of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu. They were making trouble, acting like Muslims, but they were kuffar. And if they were present during the Prophet's time, wallahi, they're present now. They're present now. But we can't go around saying, I think he's a munafiq. He's a white guy, he's a revert, he's a munafiq. This one is with the police, he says he's munafiq. If the Prophet wanted to expose them, he wouldn't have made it a secret to Hudayfa. He told him the names of all of the munafiqeen. And then the Prophet died. Umar Radiyallahu anhu went and said, Ya Hudayfa, did the Prophet mention me from the munafiqeen? He said, no. Don't anyone else ask me because I'm not seeing anything after that. Umar is from the awliya of Allah, he's in Jannah. He knows he's in Jannah. But this is what the ayat meant. Now, one of the most disturbing things, Ikhwan, disturbing for those of you who know, you more mature brothers who have some history in the dawah of Ahlul Hadith, dawah of Ahlul Sunnah Salafiyah. One of the disturbing things is, if a person is walking around saying, I am the Salafi, I'm the one, and no one else is, only me, just me, not you, not you, not you. And why not you, not you? Because you don't agree with what I say, because I don't agree with your shit. So everyone who's with me, we're the same sect, and everyone who's not. What is that? What kind of religion is that? The companions, Radiyallahu anhum, they had no doubt that Islam was the truth and that they were the template for success based upon those ayat and hadith. They had no doubt that they were the template for success. But they didn't walk around like that. Sa'd ibn Ubadah, when he was dying, he had his hand cut off, his thing cut off, his elbow cut off, and he was bleeding to death. When he was dying, his mother came and said, oh Sa'd, be patient Sa'd, because you're going to Jannah. The Prophet heard it, he said, hey Sa'd, who told you he's going to Jannah? Maybe Sa'd said a word that was from the displeasure of Allah that would send them into hellfire for 70 years. The mother started crying. If that's the case with Sa'd ibn Ubadah, what? I want to be on the truth. I think I'm on the truth. I think I'm a mu'min, inshallah. But walking around like that, there's a sickness. That's a problem. This ayat shows everybody here, everybody, part of our Islam is not to be safe and secure. What did you do today? The little that is being done, and we're proud of the little that's being done. What did you do? So what did Allah do? One of the things that Allah Azza wa Jal did was, He revealed a number of ayat, and a number of hadith came. A number, not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A number of ayat have been revealed, warning the people of doing deeds, and your deeds are going to be destroyed. Why did they get destroyed? They got destroyed because you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, or you're not doing something that you should be doing, or the conditions for that deed to be accepted are not there. You didn't have sincerity, you didn't do it the right way. And that's a lot of people. You know the famous hadith, Al-Imam Abu Amr al-Dani. He's a scholar of tafsir of the Qur'an, the ulum of the Qur'an. He's a muhaddith. He wrote a book called Kitab and Masi Salatihi. You know that man who came into the masjid and he prayed without any discipline, 2 rak'ahs. The Prophet was sitting there, Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The man came in, he prayed without discipline. And this is the salat, the normal natural salat of some people. He was looking around and he was going real quick. After salat, he came and said, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. Rasulullah said, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Go back and pray. He didn't pray. And it happened 3 times. After the 3rd time, the man kept going, coming back, kept going. After the 3rd time, the man said, teach me. So the Prophet taught him the whole salah. The whole salah. There's a lot of benefit of that hadith. So the Imam wrote a book. One of the benefits of the hadith is, this is the point. To him, he prayed. He prayed. You prayed. I prayed. In my mind and your mind, you prayed. But according to the scale of the sunnah, you didn't pray. You spent all time. Hey, did you people see on YouTube the thing called Ferrari Imam? Did anybody see Ferrari Imam? Put your hand up if you saw Ferrari Imam. Don't tell me I'm the only one who saw that. It's istihza. Ferrari, you know the car. The guy that's reading, Alhamdulillah, Ameen. You can't even understand what he's saying. An Arab who knows Arabic, I'm not talking about feeling the lidda of salah. You can't understand what's being said. We had that on YouTube. It's a masjid in Birmingham called Gungu Sharif. Gungu Sharif. Hazir Nazir, Rasulullah didn't die, ilm al-ghayb, and you come Yawm al-Qiyamah with a lot of fasting. You fasted. Right? Where's that fast going to go? The Prophet said, Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, again, let's bring it back to the point. Doing the deeds, those ayats that came, meaning one ayat, Allah Ta'ala mentioned, وَقَدِّمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْثُورًا. I'm going to come and I'm going to bring their deeds, mine, yours. I'm going to bring their deeds and I'm going to make their deeds scattered particles.